Today we are presenting Connecting Silos in the SAP Lifecycle, Ideas to Accelerate ROI and Shareholder Returns. Our presenter today is Nalin Parbhu, Infuse's founder and CEO. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. We will address them after Nalin's presentation. Also, we will run a few polls throughout the webinar, so we'd appreciate your input on these. We expect the presentation to run about 30 minutes time, leaving about 15 minutes for Q&A. Now, without further ado, I will turn it over to Nalin.
Thank you, Joe. If we can just move on to the next slide, if we can. So today's title is Connecting Silos in the SAP Lifecycle. So just an exchange of some of the ideas and experiences that we've had to accelerate ROI and shareholder returns. We're going to cover a few things. I thought I'd just cover a little bit about myself for those that you may that obviously don't know me. So I'm the CTO and CEO of Infuse. I'm an ex-programmer and a program test manager. I've worked on hundreds of test projects over a 17-year career in software engineering, specializing across process and technical testing. I've worked in some of the world's largest ERP programs, so in crazy places in the middle of Saudi Arabia, Saudi Aramco, which is in a quite nice place, and as well as in Brazil and in Australia with Kraft Food. So great experience acquired around the world. I live in London. I married one child. I'm born in Leicester. For those of you who haven't heard of Leicester, it's the best football team in England. And some of my hobbies are trying to be funny, so apologies for the bad jokes that may turn up in this presentations. I do genuinely aspire to be a stand-up comedian in my next career. I've not done very well so far, so I'm staying in IT for a little while longer. I'm attempting to grow up at the age of 43. Sorry. I do quite a lot of circuit training, and I like cooking, especially outdoor cooking, which is probably not ideal for the English weather. Okay, so just a little bit about me, and if we can move on to a little bit about Infuse. Infuse is a business that was started in 2002 by myself, as explained before. And we're focused on strong alliance and partnerships with HP, Oracle, CA, SAP. And we also have a global partner network to enable us to enhance delivery capabilities in India, Iberia, and South America. Innovations in our DNA. So we've been talking about mobile testing since 2003. We've noticed that the market's kind of been attentive on it for the last 3 or 4 years. We were the first to implement business process testing in the UK, so scriptless testing has kind of been part of our DNA. We were the first Oracle partner to build its own IP around Oracle test tools, and we've had test automation solutions for Oracle, web, mobile, SAP, etc. We like to think ourselves as objective and independent, so as well as our own intellectual property, which is around Use Mango. We're strong advocates and contributors to the open source community, and we also work with our enterprise partners products such as Oracle, HP, Computer Associates, and SAP, obviously, which is an OEM of the HP products. So in terms of us, as I mentioned, we're a partner of these people, but we've got some recognition this year. We've been recognized as one of the 20 most promising HP partners globally last year by CIO Review magazine, as well as one of the 100 most promising Oracle solution providers. We got down selected for an award. We got bronze winner for the Partner of the Year at the UK Oracle User Group, and the European Software Testing Awards. We've been shortlisted for a few years now as a finalist in the Innovator of the Year or Test Automation Project of the Year. So great recognition from our peers and colleagues. Regards to customers, we work locally and globally, so we work with some of the leading system integrators. We work with some of the leading companies globally as well, and here's some of the logos that we're able to advertise. There's over 14 years, as you can imagine, we've worked literally at many hundreds of customers, so this is just a selection of some of the live ones that we have today. Okay, so on the main presentation, what are the key drivers for change in ERP? So those of you that work in ERP, if we look at the three key drivers, there's business, compliance, and technology, and all of these kind of combine and create change events within enterprise applications and ERP. And if you look at the graph at the bottom, if you look at furthest to the left, the new implementation represents merely 8% of the cost of your ERP implementation of the total cost. So the remaining 92% of the cost of your ERP is spent keeping the lights on, upgrading, patching, changing business processes, implementing support packs from whether they be from SAP or Oracle or enhancement packs. And so these these events have an impact in the life cycle, and they all need to be managed in one way or another. So if we move on to the next slide, what we see over here is we've then got the competing demands for software delivery. So we've got the change events, and then you've got the competing demands for software delivery. So you've got the need for velocity. I want everything yesterday. I want it quickly. Business wants stuff fast. And then you've got the demand for quality. So, you're hearing all these phrases in the industry across agile, shift left, DevOps, and there's a number of things around if you don't test things properly. So this is not to be about a FUD, though. This is not about fear, uncertainty, and doubt. This is just the state of the market today. Okay, and the thing that we've noticed in our experience is that apologies, our slide has run away quickly. The thing that we've noticed in my experience is that across all the system integrators and all the large enterprises is that they've optimized the silos. So, testing is onshore, offshore. Project management is optimized with PMO offices, back office in India. Developers, it's been split into architects and senior developers onshore and then coders offshore. And so we've done all that, but the silo focus is actually not enabling us to deliver value anymore. So we need to find a way of connecting up the silos again. And actually optimization needs to come from the life cycle, not from the silo. So it's about connecting up information, it's about connecting up individual, it's about information exchange, and it's about automation and how do we manage that. And with a particular focus on SAP, SAP itself starts off with, depending on the customer and your budget, it starts off with Solution Manager, which is in theory the single source of truth, your repository of where everything exchanges. Where I guess our sort of solutioning comes from is that we look to work with creating business processes using a tool by TIBCO Nimbus, and the reason why we do that is we're able to connect business process models with our testing. And we're able to integrate it into Solution Manager. So not only are we able to capture business blueprint information from the business, we're able to update that blueprint and also integrate it into Solution Manager. And then moving further into the life cycle, what we can then do is we can create requirements from the blueprint within Quality Center. So that can be created either straight into Quality Center or even using the test framework within SAP Solution Manager. So if that's, and we've put over here a sample of Quality Center or HP, but this could be Rational or any other test tool, to be honest. Okay. We move from that and we start looking at how to connect up requirements, and what we use is a tool called UseMango to compose our test cases. So we compose our test cases with UseMango components, which are stored in HP Quality Center, which enable you to create traceability to your business blueprint and down to your enterprise model as well. And then what we can also do is directly link those UseMango test cases with the Nimbus tool itself. So you've got traceability across from the business process model, from the lowest level of the business process model to UseMango components, and from the highest level to a test case or test scenario. Okay, and this enables you to then automate that process. So you've got automated enterprise modeling with Nimbus, you've got automated testing with UseMango, you've got traceability, reporting, and governance within the HP toolset. but as I said, this could be any of the tools, and I'll explain our open architecture in a moment. Okay, with regard to test data for test cases, what we can then do is use the TDMS from SAP to create test data. So that's around creating subset of environments of SAP to run your test cases. Using the approach, you can create your tests within your test cases with Use Mango. So what you're then doing is applying a baseline of data to run your test cases against within SAP. And again, you can build that traceability into your test cases directly in Use Mango via Quality Center. Okay, and then you can update your project results with from Quality Center straight into Solution Manager. But Use Mango has an open API, and you can take it from Use Mango straight into Solution Manager as well if you needed to. Okay, and that's really the open solution that we have. So let's start moving in terms of where we start with blueprinting. So really, in terms of when we move into business blueprinting, what we're looking to do is understand the bigger picture between the manual activities and the automated activities. And so what we're looking to do is understand what are all the manual processes that you have in your business, and then what are the automated processes and how they fit. And we're trying to build that into a single process picture that the business can sign off on. And with Nimbus, what we can do is we can start optimizing that in terms of the manual activities and automated activities, and understanding what manual activities we can also automate as well. Okay, and walk through that process. Okay, so what we can then do is optimize that process and make that a little bit smaller in terms of what you need to do and how you improve and eliminate the unnecessary part of your processes. And then what you can do is then you can look to increase your footprint for automation. So that's what Nimbus allows you to do from a blueprint perspective. Okay, right. And the key thing is that what I found in my experience, and definitely on a couple of projects, is there's a lot of thought thinking that if I just automate this, then I can save money, and that may be good, but the output of the process is still a bit rubbish. And so if the process is that your customer gets their payment late, whether that's a pension payment or compensation payment, and I'm thinking about certain organisations which deal in that, then actually you're not making it better by doing a bad thing faster. What you want to do is make a bad thing quicker and better, and that's improving your SLA, improving your time to market. Okay, and only through making improving a bad process can you save time and money. So you can eliminate the inefficiencies, duplication, and non-value add items. So that's kind of what we look to do with the blueprinting phase within Nimbus, and with that you accelerate your ROI, you improve your time to market, you get ahead of your competitors, and you increase your shareholder returns. Okay, the other part of our business blueprinting is that we have a whole bunch of process accelerators for SAP. So here's an example of an end-to-end process view around procure-to pay, but we've got quite a lot of the processes already built within Nimbus that we can bring. So what we do is we can implement a blueprinting tool. We can then tinker with the process to suit your business. So it's not to say, oh yeah, take it or leave it, but it's about adapting it to fit your business. We then have that traceability built into Use Mango, and that's kind of our vision. And then what you have is full traceability from your requirement into your test. So not only have you got an optimized process, but you've actually got an optimized way of validating that process as well. Okay. And just to kind of run through some of the proof points. So we've got a customer here at CRH where they had an estimate of 18 months for their business blueprinting phase, and we basically delivered the process with our partner Rock Consulting in 4 months. So that's a pretty significant and hefty return on investment, of taking 14 months off the implementation of a blueprint. Okay, and classic way of getting ahead of the market. So moving out of blueprinting, we then move into what we call the architecture of the SAP and non-SAP applications. So I'll run through the open architecture, and then what we'd like to do is we'd like to just run a little pop quiz. So in terms of what our vision is and where we're going, is we've got our own proprietary tool, which is UseMango. We then look to implement that and integrate that with tools like Nimbus. We look to do execution within UseMango and play that back. We integrate through our API into ALM and Jira. We look to then run on various APIs, so whether that's on local host or on Amazon or Oracle eBusiness or SAP, that's kind of where our vision is where we're going. In terms of where we're going in the future, we're deploying on the cloud. So we've got an offering called Test Factory, which we're taking to market with our partners, because we think there's a good market in the system integration market. So I'm just going to now pause for a second, and I just want to run a pop quiz by you. A moment for you all to be interactive, for those of you who may be eating your sandwiches, just to run through how you capture your blueprints. Okay. So I just want to know, how do you currently capture your blueprints in your projects? Is it Word, Excel, Visio, or is it another blueprinting tool? If we give you 30 seconds, we'll be we'll close the polling, and then we'll give you an update. So if you can all come in and join the vote, we'll publish the vote in a moment. So how do you currently capture your blueprints? Is it in Word, Excel, a Visio type tool, or another blueprinting tool that you use? So we're going to give you another 30 seconds for you to put down your sandwiches and vote. Right. Okay. We're about to close the vote. So let's publish this. An interesting set of results that we got here. Okay. So so we'll share the results with you. So what we can see over here is 50% of you use Word. It's interesting. 13% of you use Excel. 25% of you use Visio, and 13% of you use another blueprinting tool. Okay. That's thank you very much for that. So we'll just go back on to continue back with the presentation. Okay. Right. So what we have is effectively, sorry, my slides have some automatic animation, and sometimes they run away. So really what we have is an open architecture. So no matter what the test management backlog and requirements tool that you use, we integrate with that. We integrate that through testing, and then we can run that on your enterprise applications. And the execution can be continuous. It can be continuous testing. So you can run that either out of Jenkins, but if you're running Oracle Fusion programs, you can run that continuously, for example, as well. And then we've got reporting, and our reporting is again run on the Elk stack, so that's available for you to tailor in any shape or form that you desire. Okay, so I just want to deep dive a little bit into SAP then. So I've kind of explained that we've got Solution Manager, Nimbus, how we integrate that in. We've got Nimbus that we use as our business process change analyzer. Not to be confused by SAP's BPCA. What we're doing is identifying business processes affected in Nimbus, which then tell us what test cases need to be impacted. The areas in red are the areas that we're going to deep dive into. So I just want to run a little bit into Quality Center and UseMango. So those of you that know HP tools, HP have something called Quality Center. Infuse, as part of its OpenStack solution, uses an OEM version of Quality Center, which it makes available to its customers. Okay. So really, what we can see in Quality Center is over here an approach where you can get your business process model, and you can upload it into Quality Center and put it in part of the requirements tab. And then what you can do is you can then baseline that within Quality Center and build a full traceability across the life cycle. From your blueprint that you built in Nimbus, or it could be Aris or whatever, But the good thing about Quality Center is that it will take it off Visio as well. You're going to build your test case and you can do your traceability requirements. So this is an example of a business blueprint within application lifecycle management or Quality Center. And this is an example of the requirements traceability. So tests against requirements. Again, how do you measure business risk? How do you do your coverage analysis against your approach? And this is kind of an approach that we use. But again, we also know that customers may use Jira, and that's why we've got the open architecture to support that. So that's kind of just a quick overview into what we do from there. I want to then run into a slight deeper dive in terms of use Mango for the functional automated scriptless testing and the use Mango server. So as I explained before, once you create your business blueprint in your Nimbus tool, you can then at the lowest level start integrating your low-level business blueprint into your use Mango test case, effectively to a component. Okay, so some of the challenges that we built use Mango to address. So one of the things that we have when you're creating a business blueprint is that it's high level and it's done by a functional expert, and what we're trying to do is create a person with business knowledge to create testing. And if we're trying to integrate test automation into that person, it's not going to happen. And these are just the 4 reasons why it's not going to happen. First of all, there's a lag through the life cycle from business blueprint to testing, and no doubt the business processes change. Secondly, you need a very technical person to deliver the test automation, and your functional expert is not that person. There's a high degree of maintenance required, so if the application changes, then you need to change the script. And again, your functional expert's probably not that person, nor is your manual tester. And then you get the misalignment with business and IT, so if you give it to an automation person, they probably create a test that doesn't match the business process. So again, that doesn't really work, and then the scarce availability of test automation. So our view is if we can get the person with the business knowledge and the functional expert to create the test, or whoever created that blueprint, then that's the way forward to try and create that tight traceability between business requirements and testing, really. Okay, and so for us, we've got a use Mango tool which is about simplifying and accelerating the business process testing, and basically what it is, it's a set of reusable components. So what we've done is we've taken SAP, for example, and we've pre-built a whole bunch of components that exist, whether it be forms, buttons, lists, tables, etc., etc. Where you have SAP and it's heavily customized, or it's not standard, and everyone's not standard, although every customer I meet tells me they're pretty standard, but we all know that's not true. Where we have that customer, what we have is if they've customized SAP, then what we can get them to, we can use a scanner to effectively capture that part of the form, update the component repository, and then what we can do is build that as a bunch of tests in a workflow. And then what we do is we can use the use Mango execution engine to either execute those tests in SAP directly, but if there's anything that needs to run in web, for example, it will use Selenium WebDriver. And then we have detailed log files that can then be updated. So our log files are very simple in English and can be used to update business process documentation, or even update your business process modeling diagrams. Okay. So when can you use Mango? So really, when we're using use Mango, our view is that you do your requirements within your business process modeling tool, and then you can use Mango to basically help you with your integration, your functional or your system testing, your UAT, and then your smoke testing as well in deployment. So really, use Mango can be used pretty much through the life cycle, and then having integrated into your requirements, you obviously have a full life cycle solution as well connected. Okay, And just to run over some of the success, so on the left-hand side, we've got a customer that ran Use Mango on Oracle e-business, and on the right-hand side, we've got a customer that ran it on SAP. So some pretty good headline numbers there from this FMCG customer, which has €500,000 savings per test cycle. So that's on 500 end-to-end UAT test cases. So that's full business process, huge reduction in testing effort from 10 days to 1 day, right? Okay, and then we've got some other results as well. So more than happy to share references or case studies in these areas if you wish to contact us. Okay, so moving on. Once you've done your business blueprinting, once you've done your functional testing, then you run it onto your test environment. You then want to know, can I go live and will it perform? Can I make payroll? Will my goods be delivered? So our approach is slightly different. A lot of people call this stress and load testing. We call it performance engineering. And our approach around performance engineering, performance testing is really a late life cycle activity. So it's something done quite late on, and we think that's not the way forward if you want to do continuous delivery. But it's actually quite expensive. Because inevitably, if you do performance testing at the end, you're going to go live anyway. I've been involved in many performance testing projects to know that when you go live with performance issues, then you'd be quite smart and you might throttle your user base. So you may be meant to support 15,000 users, but you throttle it at 3,000. But that's really been a waste of all the hardware and licenses that you spent. If you built something for 15,000 users and you can only go live with 3,000. So for us, performance engineering is really around looking at the information requirements, which is around simulation, measurement, modeling, tuning, efficiency, looking at testing under load, and then testing, testing through the life cycle. And if I show you the V model, if you look at what we're looking at, you start off performance engineering at the blueprinting phase. Actually, in your business blueprint, you should capture your performance requirements, you should build your performance objectives, and then you actually start testing at unit testing within SAP. And that's a discipline and something that we know very well, and something that we can certainly help with. But the key thing over here is that if you do testing through the life cycle as opposed to right at the end of the life cycle, then actually your performance testing phase is a lot shorter because it's validating. It's validating your work you've done up the life cycle. So it's and all the faults you fixed are cheaper, and there's definitely a better TCO story on that as well. Okay, and just kind of looking at performance engineering customers. So we've got a very big customer in the petrochemicals industry, probably the largest oil firm in the world, based in the Middle East. So that's going to be doing an IPO soon. So that's about all the answers I've given you to give you a clue of who that company is. We've been running a huge amount of functional performance validation there since 2006, and actually our performance engineering approach enabled us to capture a major performance defect during an Oracle RAC upgrade, and it's an Oracle RAC upgrade that would have stopped offshore gas production. So offshore gas production is pretty much $500,000 a day. So I think the entire engagement cost £200,000. So I think the ROI was pretty significant on that basis. Okay. So just moving on a little bit more in terms of the direction of where we're going. So this is kind of our blueprint. Apologies, guys. I've just noticed a few errors on the logos. But that's kind of our approach towards the strategic direction of testing through the life cycle on the SAP application lifecycle management. It's about running, everything from blueprints, running change impact analysis. Change impact analysis is done, you make your processes, you make your changes on your business blueprint. Your business blueprint then tells you what's changed in terms of your test cases and your impact. You update your test cases using the scan and use Mango, which updates your test cases in seconds, as opposed to recoding. And you do that using your business process experts. So what you do is you do that testing early as opposed to late, and what we do is we look at engineering for performance as opposed to testing for performance. Okay. So really, key takeaways that we have. Our view is that better shareholder returns with these methods are achieved through a more efficient software delivery. So we're looking at optimizing the life cycle, looking to reduce time to market, looking to reduce number of defects later in the life cycle, but not reducing number of defects caught in the life cycle. We're looking to increase the number of defects caught early in the life cycle, if that makes any sense, because the earlier you find those defects or prevent those defects, then the better. And defect prevention can be achieved through effective business blueprinting and good traceability to tests. Finding faults in testing means that you've had leakage into your test. Okay, so we're just going to run through a couple of used Mango success stories. So we've had I'm going to send you some case studies afterwards, which will kind of tell you about what you have in terms of success stories. But before we go, I just want to run through a couple of another poll. So I just want to know, in terms of test cases, how many of your test cases are automated? So if you look at the quick poll and we look at test cases and automation, how many test cases are automated within your projects? So I thought I'd cheekily put 100% at one point as one of the answers, but I thought over 75% was quite ambitious, and we work in ERP, and so we know. So looking for you to select one of them. So it's either none, 25% to 50%, 50% to 75%, which is pretty good coverage, and over 75%, which means that you have your test process down to days, which is well done you. Okay, we're just about to close the poll, and some interesting findings over here as well. Right. Okay. So we have over here 75% have no test cases automated. So yeah, no surprise there. And then 25 to 50% have 13%, and 50 to 75% are 13%. So that's pretty good. Okay. So we're just going to run over the wrap up here. I'm going to hand back to Joe, and we're going to have some Q&A afterwards. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the questions box in your tool, and we'll do a wrap up for you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Nalin. So we have about 5 or so minutes here for Q&A. We have a few questions here, but by all means, please ask away. Question 1 is, how does the approach that you outlined really differ from the traditional approach to this?
I guess, Joe, the approach that we have is it's about looking at the life cycle. But I think the key difference is that a lot of the vendor approaches are across single vendor groups. We know that there's a trend in the market towards open source. So we know that there's a major SAP retail customer actually based around the corner from our offices in Westminster, and they don't want enterprise tooling, right? They're just not interested. And so the key thing about our approach is looking at maximizing the opportunity to automate in the life cycle, as well as having an open architecture to integrate with open source. Because for me, I see the market moving away from paying huge amounts of license fees now. I think it's there's a corny line: software is eating the world, and it's a bit of a cliche, but if software is eating the world, then software's got to become quite cheap. So £5,000, £10,000 for test automation licenses, and £20,000 for a business blueprinting license is just, it's not going to be palatable anymore. People want to have, they want to get something, get it quickly, and they want results quickly. And I think ERP has to move that way. There's too much cost pressure.
Okay, next question is, what role do you see project managers playing in this process?
Yeah, so the program managers and the project managers are in charge of governance and reporting and delivery. So for me, all of that relies on them making this work, and they're the people that are reporting up to the senior stakeholders and the business, the progress of what's going on. So to me, they're very, very key in this process. And inevitably, I still go on some customers, and the project manager goes around each of the silos trying to collect the information, going, hey, testing, what's going on? Hey, development, what's going on? Hey, operations, what the issues you got in production. I think now what we have to do is we have to collect that information, report it in a 360-degree view, and with the approach that we've got, you've got an approach that connects your business blueprint into your service operations. Okay, I'm very realistic. I know that many customers shy away from using Solution Manager at its core. The costs of it are prohibitive, and therefore, although it may be great for information, actually it may be only palatable for the multi-billion multinationals, right? And not for the smaller customers. Yeah.
And last question, what is the main challenge for applying test automation to SAP?
So the key thing around SAP is that it comes out the box, but everyone customizes it, and it's the same with all ERP applications. And actually, if we look at our business here, right, we've taken on Salesforce, right? We've got a 10-man sales team, and we've customized Salesforce. Yeah, so that's a small business like ours, right? And so if you got these enterprises which are 100-man, 200-man, 300-man, 400-man, or person, I should say, not man, then there's definitely a challenge in that area, right? So where they customize it, use Mango's optimized to enable you to test those customized applications.
All right. Well, thanks for the presentation, Nalin. That concludes our webinar.